Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And there's one undeniable truth about South Africa, and in particular, the white population of South Africa. There are three distinct groups. Those who understand what's going on and are really worried about their future. The second group are those who are worried but still happy to just say that they're going to stay in South Africa. And that group kind of overlaps with the third group, which are those who are living in denial and are thinking that everything is just fine in South Africa. Nothing is wrong. Everything is cool. Everything is good. Nothing has changed since 1994. We can still lead our lives like we used to in the good old days. Well, it's about time the last group woke up to the reality of what's happening. And what are we talking about? We're talking about what happened overnight. A brilliant psychologist and specialist in hate crime and violence in South Africa was brutally butchered and had her throat slit in her own home by a gang of armed robbers. A leading scholar, Dr. Mirah Wilks, was ambushed and attacked by the men who had waited until her husband Frank left to worship at the local synagogue, leaving her home alone. The group had climbed up onto the roof and removed tiles and dropped down inside the house and stabbed Mirah at least 12 times in the chest and back, then cut her throat. Retired husband Frank, 72, returned home from evening worship on Sunday night and found the blood-soaked body of his wife of 45 years lying dead on the floor of the family home. Dr. Wilkes, 69, was renowned for her research into hate crimes, trauma and violence, and was a highly respected former chair of the Psychological Society of South Africa. South African police have launched a major manhunt for the gang who struck at the home in Johannesburg and killed her just to steal 2 laptops and a mobile phone. That's the price of life in South Africa, and it gets a lot cheaper. They'll kill you for a phone. And yet you still got people living in denial thinking that everything is like it used to be. Good luck with that. Former art teacher turned counsellor Dr. Wilkes qualified last year with a PhD in hate crimes from the University of South Africa after spending many years in South Africa as a top psychologist. She had also gained degrees at the University of Queensland in Australia and University of Pennsylvania in the United States of America, and was working at the University of Witwatersrand in Johannesburg when she was murdered. Now, the University of Queensland is just a stone throw from me here. Very, very good university. Dr. Wilkes had moved to Australia from Israel as a young girl and had a daughter, Taryn, and her son, Brett, in Melbourne, Victoria, which is also Australia. With husband Frank and the family later emigrated to South Africa. Dr. Wilkes had recently started important research into resilience as a means of adaptation and survival, with a survival focus on South African lesbian, gay, bisexual and transgender community. The LGBTQ. Not going to go there. South African police said they believed the men had waited for Mr. Wilkes to leave the home before breaking in through the ceiling, or perhaps get around the security doors and windows. A source said the helpless grandmother was stabbed at least 12 times, and during the struggle, the ruthless gang slit her throat before making off with the laptops and the phone. Police spokesperson Colonel Lungelo Dlamini said, a case of murder has been investigated and the post-mortem will determine the exact cause of death, but a sharp object was used. Well, if you haven't got a gun, you grab a knife, don't you? He said it was used in the fatal assault on the victim, who was found by her husband when he returned home from church, and we're appealing for witnesses to come forward. Now, what is so interesting about this article is that it's actually not in a South African paper. It's one in the United Kingdom, the Daily Mail. They're the ones reporting on this. Incredible. Professor Nell, who is close friends with Dr. Wilkes and her supervisor, said that the Psychological Society of South Africa was distraught after learning of her murder. Now, I was talking about that group in denial. I think a large percentage of psychologists in South Africa were in denial, and this might just be a wake-up call for them, that times have changed in South Africa. But we'll see. He said Dr. Wilkes was a victim of a violent crime that took place in her home, and Mirah's untimely death has left us with a deep sense of loss that will affect us all here. Mirah was known to a great many of her colleagues in the psychology fraternity and was a good soul and a person in the profession who had great integrity and honor. Counseling psychologist Dr. Ingrid Artis said, "We have a scarcity of psychologists in South Africa, and the service they provide to society are vital, and her loss will impact on patients." She went on to say the work that she was doing in South Africa was vital to helping the countries such as ours. This will perpetuate the fear that many associate with crime. She will be greatly missed. Well, all I can say is rest in peace. It's the horror that is the reality in South Africa. And to that third group, the ones who deny that anything is going wrong in South Africa, it's time to wake up. Time to wake up. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, stay safe.